Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to week 4 of the Dragon League under the Ascension Esports company here. My name is Mark Rafa Arambide, and joining me on the cast is a good friend, Sordo. Sordo, I've actually never asked for your full name. Do you want to disclose that, or are you just...
Yeah, I'll go with it. It's Robert Sordo Milner Santiago. What's poppin'?
Whoa! Wait a minute!
Mira!
Yeah, mi hermano!
Hey!
Todo este tiempo no me digas nada que está pasando.
Mira, vamos. All right, we're in game. We're in champ select. We'll have this connection later.
Yeah, all right. Okay. I mean, when two Latinos find each other in this crazy world, I mean, it's cause for celebration. But for
is.
now, we gotta focus in on this first game of week 4. We're covering Thomas the Dank Engine versus Scooptroop. Now, both of these teams, they're not doing too good in the league right now.
That is true. You know, you have Thomas the Dank Engine sitting at 2-3, and you have Scooptroop sitting at 0-6, still looking for that first win. But, you know, a lot of them have been due to FFs, and it's been a yikes for the Scooptroop roster as a whole. But hopefully they can pick up a first win here. Picks just flying out. Jax, Evelyn, Cho'Gath, Vi. I'm liking all of these picks, and we see my least favorite champion in the game, the one that makes me just rip my hairs out. Both of them, actually, Fizz and Zoe. Oh, God. There's so many things that can be said. Though both of them are getting completely and utterly gutted next patch, we're still on 8.15. So Zoe is still one of the strongest mid laners. She can still assassinate you from 2,000 range with her paddle star back into her ultimate. It just blows you up. You don't actually get to play the game. But one of her biggest counters is Fizz. You know, you use the playful trickster to avoid the sleepy bubble trouble. You use it to avoid the paddle star. And then on top of that, you just engage as well. And it's just a pain to deal with. So I'm liking for typical E-Girl to have the Fizz versus the Zoe. Though I still think the Zoe wins throughout lane phase.
Yeah, but it's a good thing that if you do not like them so much, that they will be tearing each other's throats out versus your own. You don't have to play against them.
I know, thank God. Ooh, I see it in solo queue, and I'm just like, dodge, -3, go on to the next one. But we do see the bot laners coming out. Jhin Zyra versus Xayah Rakan. That's a tongue twister in and of itself. We were talking about this earlier before we went live. We haven't seen Jhin Zyra in like 2 years. But it used to be one of the strongest bot lanes out there. You get the root from the Zyra, and then you deadly flourish. The Jhin just gets the free hit. The Zyra gets to just throw her plants. And there's not much that really can be done. The original combo used to be Alistar Headbutt Pulverize into Deadly Flourish, into the Alistar E. But I still like Jhin Zyra. It's still a kill lane. They do a lot of damage. And versus the Xayah Rakan, if you can hit it onto the Xayah pre-6, that's going to be a lot of trouble for Trizzle.
Yeah, one of the things that you have to respect about this bot lane and why it was so dominant during Season 6 World Championships back in the States. You cannot just be concerned about the Jhin thinking that, well, he's going to be the only damage. The support doesn't do anything. This is Zyra's support. This is one of the mage supports that will be building damage as the game progresses, mainly focusing on magic penetration items like the Sorcerer's Boots and the Oblivion Orb into eventually a Liandry's or the likes of a Merle and Namakan, just because her plants do so much base damage as the game progresses. So she doesn't really need a very expensive build path. She can't be very cost efficient. And so in these trades that we'll be looking at between the Lovers Duo bot lane versus the Season 6 World Champion Domination bot lane is that what is Drex going to do once this combo comes up? The Grasping Root and the Deadly Flourish. Does Drex attempt to Grand Entrance Jhin and stop his damage, or does he attempt to stop Fabulous's damage on the Zyra?
Now, here's the thing that you can't underestimate. you do have the level 1 advantage with the Xayah Rakan. You do grand entrance in, and when Xayah hits her W, you do get those empowered auto attacks with Rakan. So I feel like they do win that level 1 heavy, especially if he can hit the grand entrance. So if I'm Jin Zyra, you kind of got to play it like an Alistar Jin lane. You have to wait till that level 2 comes around and then just hit him with it. If you can hit the grasping roots, there's not really much Drex or Trizzle can do. And especially if you hit it onto Trizzle, it's not going to be a fun bot lane, and you know a summoner is going to be burned. Ooh.
Yeah, definitely going to have to track both of these bot lanes as the game progresses in the early game. And one thing I do want to point out, Sordo, is that even though Aardvark and Trizzy, both of these respective bot laners, have experience on these characters, at least from their solo queue records, Fabulous and Drex are actually mid laners that have been asked to sub into the support position. And this is the first time that they have played this champion, at least from a competitive standpoint. I can't find any records of Fabulous playing Zyra in solo queue, nor can I find any Rakan records for Drex. So this will essentially almost be like first pick ever for both of these supports.
I mean, you kind of got to give the advantage then to Drex. I feel Rakan is a much more forgiving support that even if you miss grand entrance, when you hit 6, you just press R, the quickness, you charm everyone, E back to Xayah. All you have to do is really hit redemption and lock it correctly, and it's not too terrible. Whereas with Zyra, you do have to hit the grasping roots, and if not, you press R and hope to God you can knock up, 2 to 3 people and disrupt the backline. If not, you're kind of useless until you get, 40% CDR and can throw out the grasping roots all the time, just keep going. So I kind of want to give it to Drex on this, but you never know. Like, he might go in at the dumbest time, get himself caught, and, that's just the end. Rakan isn't known to be tanky. He's supposed to be someone who goes in, charms everyone, gets out, and by the time he gets out, he's either, won the team fight or he's running back to his Nexus. So, I mean, it's give and take.
Give and take will definitely be the name, as Drex needs to basically pick out which engages he wants to be able to do, and then to ensure that he doesn't exhaust all of his mobility spells just to make something happen in case it goes wrong. And then he'll definitely need a way to escape out and disengage the fight. But I want to step back from now this bot lane perspective and just take a look overall. Because the champion picks were locked in so fast, we didn't get a huge chance to absorb the whole composition. And I think looking at the side of Thomas Dank Engine on blue side, you have this Evelynn who we see as in solo queue as a huge monster, but doesn't have a lot of early game presence for at least that first clear. Definitely needs to be able to get until level 6 before she can start being a lot more proactive on the Rift. But it does not mean that Vi cannot stop her from getting to that level 6 point.
Well, I like that both of them took Electrocute. They're both going for that early game, just I'm planning to kill everyone. The thing with Evelynn, she does have a kill lane top. You do have the Jax who can leap strike in with the counter strike and stun the Cho'Gath. While you have your charm working, it takes what, like second and a half, 2 seconds to be able to work up. So it's not, terrible. So I feel like it can work as spectator bug.
Rito with the client issues is quite unlucky on that point, but we're just going to throw it to a quick intermission as we try to make sure everything is working on our end, and then we'll get this game underway for the rest of you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. Sorry for the technical difficulties there, but now we're underway. We did miss a kill bot lane. It looked like Aardvark and Fabulous got the advantage there for themselves, being first blood over to the Zyra. So now with the complete Frostfang, she's already going to have a lot more gold income for herself, the increased mana regen, and a little bit more damage on all of the trades.
Yeah, most likely what ended up happening was, grasping roots like we were saying, but we see the Vi just go, oh, hello.
Oh, Blade Caller was able to pick it up with an Ignite, and Flash is now looking for the Paddle Star to zone typical E-Girl away, but looks like that should be the end of that. But One True Urgot not having a good time against Bliss in the top lane.
Yeah, Cho'Gath is kind of a bully early game versus Jax, especially if you take a bad trade level 1 through 3. So, Urgot does take a bad trade, but we see, oh gosh, going in.
Grand Entrance does land, and the root from Blade Caller comes in as well for Trizzle, but that's all. Fabulous does have 3 pots available, so it's going to start chugging them, and we'll be able to regen back to full play. One True Urgot.
Bliss has Flash.
Yeah, Bliss could easily just flash auto E, and that would be a done deal. But the question is, does he want to go for it? I mean, why not just call Mistress Alawi over to the top side of the map?
Oh, that is true. If he hits a Rupture onto the Jax right now, I would just flash E and just kill the Jax. If you manage to kill this Jax in the laning phase, it's basically a done deal for you. Like, you win that lane super hard. So, I don't know. The Cho'Gath just scales so well, especially, if you can get your Devourer stacks off early, or your Feast stacks early. Like, you are just in such a good position to carry. So,
yeah,
curious to see.
We're going to have to shift back over to what did happen to Mistress Alawi, as she was taken down by Blade Caller from using both suns, the Ignite and the Flash on Zoe. And with her being down on the Rift, it did give Haru Specs on this Evelynn a huge farm advantage. Actually, we're going to see the Fish coming out, and Blade Caller doesn't really have a lot of mana and no more sums. Typical E-Girl is going to be able to fall in. This could be, but the Ignite has been traded back, but misses the Paddle Star, but it doesn't even matter. The Spell Thief auto damage and the passive just being able to knock down typical E-Girl. Oh, that is...
Don't you love that? Don't you love that, champion? Like, the fact, Fizz, typical E-Girl, Flash. Okay, Zoe now gets another Flash. Oh, you ignited? Now I get to ignite you. Anything you can do, I can do better. Like, that's basically what just happened in that lane. Like, the Zoe ended up missing everything, but was able just to auto-ignite, auto, with her empowered W, and still able to secure the kill onto the Fizz, who should have been able to win that fight. He did end up taking 2 tower shots. He ended up queuing in and eating the tower shots instead of queuing, then Playful Trickster into the W. He would have probably lived that way, but, bit of a misplay. You gotta just go with it,
Yeah. It's unfortunate for typical E-Girl, as that it definitely looked like it was in his favor there for the matchup. But like you said, Blade Caller didn't even have to hit the Paddle Star, as typical E-Girl did flash that so beautifully, but when you flash, you do give a flash over the Zoe, and then just the auto damage and the passive from W is just going to always land. Poor Bliss had the advantage earlier on, but now Harspex is going to be able to balance out the scales here for One True Urgot, as now he has reached that level 6 power spike.
And the thing that sucks as well, because the Vi ended up dying earlier, we see Bliss get really low here.
Wow, One True Urgot was actually forced to use the ultimate there, and we're gonna have to see if he actually wants to go in for this. But Bliss still has Feast, and you cannot disrespect the amount of true damage that could come out and catch you by surprise.
That leap strike was well played. Sleepy Bow Trouble misses though, and wow, that HP. Now, sorry about that, but I'm surprised the Evelynn still hasn't come top. The Cho'Gath still is in execute range. Once the Jax ends up autoing him one time, he is in execute range. He just has to go in, whether it is just flat. Oh gosh, Fizz!
Typical E-Girl finally gets the kill that he was looking for in that 1v1. This time, there's not much that Blade Caller could have done in that situation. Actually got the fish down for bit more damage. I think the range was a bit farther, and when the fish is farther, the damage is increased ever so slightly.
Yep, just new fizz things, and we see engage onto the Vi, but she's just going to walk out. Deadly Flourish does miss. But like I was saying earlier, the Vi does get screwed over a little bit because she died early game. And the Vi's advantage was levels 1 through 5 versus the Evelynn. But dying early like that and giving up the kill, especially to a Zoe, kind of gets rid of all of your lane pressure. Now you're super reliant onto the ult, which did get buffed this patch. Not last patch, this patch. And Vi is one of those champions that is just uber reliant onto her ultimate to get her ganks off efficiently. So the Vi can still be useful, but if she doesn't get a kill with that first assault and battery, it's not going to be a good time for the red side.
Yeah, because I believe the cooldown early on is very long, as it is. Assault and Battery has been one of those ultimates in the past. Been so difficult. Oh, this could be bad for one true. Oh, dude! He said, yo, I want to number 2 special to go and eat that booty so fast.
Did he just walk up slowly and feast? Like, my goodness. Zoe forced the flash because Chum the Waters. But, wait, this is still going in!
Ignite is going in! Nicely done! Typical E-Girl says, I don't care, you got 2 kills for free. I'm going to be able to take that back. And now Grand Entrance with the quickness is going to be able to lock up Fabulous and Aardvark. Both of them are going to flash away. Ignite is ticking down, but here comes Horror. He does have the Last Caress. Is not going to do enough damage. Maybe Last Curtain Call could find the mark, and it does! The final bullet will close the curtains down on the Trizzle, and Drex is going to fall to the red buff burn that was on Haru Specs. What a beautiful gank coming in the nick of time from Thomas the Dank Engine's jungler here.
American Sniper Jin hits the last shot of the Curtain Call, which does do percent missing HP damage. So it was just amazing. He hits the blind shot. The thing is, Trizzle still had flash, but that was just disrespectful. He was like, nah, I ain't flashing this. I'll dodge it. Gets collapsed, slapped in the face with the last bullet, and Trizzle's just going to go down. Now 0-2 in the lane. Rakan also goes down. So this is just not looking good for Scooptroop here. The Evelynn did have a good gank in, forcing the Xayah to use her Feather Storm, and overall just really well played by Thomas the Dank Engine.
Yeah, well, we're going to have to see how well Typical E-Girl and Bliss can now try to turn that advantage around. Maybe they could be the comeback factors for their own team. Now, Bliss does have Feast, and here comes Mr. Solawi. Oh, this is a dead Jax. Another Feast is going to come in. That's going to be 2-0 on the Cho'Gath already. And now that he has 2 Feast stacks just on champions, he still has 6 more stacks that he can use just on normal minions and monsters that are not the Dragon or the Baron. So Bliss is already going to start getting huge.
Yeah, no, that Jack's falling down like he fell off a ladder. He's just non-existent right now. We see the Fizz going in, stopwatch forced out.
Bladecaller does use the stopwatch to dodge and thumb the waters, but Typical E-Girl still getting a tasty amount of damage with that electrocute proc from the W as well. Typical E-Girl just looking to push his advantage as much as he can before Bladecaller can call in the help of Aardvark and Fabulous or even Haruspex to counteract the lane.
Yeah, this lane is starting to become the downfall of Thomas the Dank Engine. Almost all your deaths are onto the Jax, and the Jax is kind of getting smacked up by the Cho'Gath. Now, Jax shouldn't be doing the best into this matchup, but he shouldn't be, 0-2. Yes, the jungler has come, but you still shouldn't be down, 13 CS at this point. So, it's now on Urgod to try to freeze the lane, try to get it in such a position, but we see the Evelynn coming in, though. Yeah, that's a flash by the Cho'Gath.
Mm-hmm. Bliss already just respecting the potential for that gank to come in from Haruspex. And One True Urgot, now with the assistance from his jungler, is just going to try to get as much free hits as he can. But Bliss still has the sustain that is so powerful in his kit just to be able to sustain back off these minions, but they might look for a dive. It is really...
That's risky.
Yeah.
Right now, Haruspex is just wasting a lot of time when he should be in the jungle, counter jungling, getting vision onto the Vibe, which they do get. So Jax, he might have to back off here, or are they going to collapse onto the Vibe?
Ooh, this could be... Wow, the flash coming out from typical E-Girl just knows that there's too much threat from the double bubble, setting into a Paddle Star and a Last Caress from Haruspex. Now without that summoner, it's going to be a lot more difficult to extend his pressure.
Yeah, the issue with Zoe... Oh, and we see a pause. But Monka-esque, that really is. But like we were saying, with Haruspex, you know, if he has another form of CC onto a champion, he can just get the charm off and 100-0 anyone. So I do respect typical E-Girl for, you know, acknowledging that. Just flashes, it's fine, it's whatever. Not that big of a deal. I'd rather flash than give up, you know, a shutdown kill to the Zoe especially, who, you know, she was far enough away that she could have just pedal starred back and completely smacked up the Fizz. So, you know, well played by typical E-Girls as we get back into the game.
Quick pause. It just seems like one of the players was lagging. Just had to go and feed his hamster real quick to make sure that wheel is still running for the computer. But now...
Change out hamsters for ferrets, you know? Gotta get the upgrades.
Yeah, ferret's definitely much more cost efficient.
Honestly.
Get more ferret power versus hamster power. Oh, Haruspex is waiting in the wings to get something down on this mid lane, but typical E-Girl is just doing a great job of being able to dodge around. He's going to throw out the Chum the Waters now. Blade Caller, can he get the assistance that he needs? He's going to miss the Q here, but Blade Caller is still going to go down with the Ignite. Typical E-Girl does have Ignite going down on him as well, and the shutdown will come in. That's going to be a lot of gold coming back for Blade Caller, but Haruspex was there and able to make sure that the revenge kill was made. Now, One True Urgot, he's already flashed away. Bliss is just going to run him down with the Righteous Glory. He's going to knock him up one more time with the Rupture, and then the feast. Nom nom. That's some good eating.
Yo, Bliss is a fat boy right now. He just, let me eat up that Jax real quick. Acting like this is a Latino dinner right here. Ooh, gotta eat tonight. Good, big boy. We see Vi there as well. They just want this first tower. Oh my goodness. Yeah, this is just a clapping happening up top from this Jax. It's a yikes.
It is a big yikes for me, bro. And it's just so incredible to believe that Scooptroop is running 4 subs this game. And they're record right now is 0-6 in the league. They are in dead last place. Not to say that Thomas the Dank Engine isn't a great team as well. They're currently 2-3, so they're only 5th place. So it's not like they're the number 1 seed, but 5th and 8th place should feel like a more different kind of atmosphere here. But so far, Bliss is just absolutely dominating this top lane, and typical E-Girl is doing pretty much the same thing with mid lane as well.
Yeah, there should be a huge differential between 5th place and 8th place. You are right about that, but Haruspex might get caught out here.
Oh, he's going to get hit by the punch and the fist and the Chum, the Waters. That's a dead Evelyn, and now they might look to extend that lead into taking another turn onto the bot side of the map. With 4 members here, they could take it real easily. Yeah,
Sword and Battery is still up, so on the side of Dank, they have to respect this. They have to back off.
Do have Blade Caller rotating down to the bot side of the map. Maybe could get a pick with the double trouble bubble and then into Deadly Flourish and Grasping Roots. But other than that, there's not a lot of team fighting power right now from the side of Thomas the Dank Engine versus the Engage from Assault Battery and the Grand Entrance and Quickness. So this is looking not too good. And as we said, we have the Quickness of the Grand Entrance coming in. Assault Battery is going to lock down Aardvark. He will be able to flash away and heal. The Disengage has come in beautifully, but typical E-Girl still wants to go for more. He doesn't even need Chum the Water. He's just going to flash in with the belly flop onto Aardvark. And now, One True Urgot is
Ooh,
here
Sleepy
trying to
Ball
rectify
trouble.
the means. We do have a teleport coming in. This is questionable. Bliss just teleported right in the middle of 3 under turret, but he's so damn tanky that he doesn't care. He's just going to go back out. Chum the Waters is back off of cooldown. It's going to lock down One True Urgot. Could this be a 4th feast for him? No, it's not going to be quite yet. Typical Ego will fall down as he did take the kill onto One True Urgot. And now this is just an absolute fiesta. Skirmishes all over the darn place on the rift here. Blade Caller flat. Going in with the portal jump, but that's a little too far forward. Nom nom, as you're right, that's his 4th kill of the game on this big, hungry dinosaur. And now, Haruspex and Fabulous are left alone to try and defend the base. Aardvark is on his way from the base, but I don't know if they're going to get here in time.
The issue is you can't do damage. Oh god, the Rakan's going in again.
It just doesn't stop. Scooptroop. What is this team that we have watching right here? This is not the 0-6 team that we were looking at all split. And now Haruspex, he really wants to get something down here. Featherstorm is not there to get him out alive, but Haruspex is just respecting Bliss too much that he does not want to get the easy kill onto Trizzle with the last caress.
He could have just flashed last caress and gotten the kill onto the Xayah, and jeez. So many things went wrong. They tried to do a lot of damage to the Cho'Gath, who right now is sitting at 3,300 HP at 19 minutes. Excuse me, what? So, you can't do damage to him. They did blow up the Fizz, hit the Sleepy Trouble Bubble. Chum the Water's coming out again, though. Oh, jeez. Oh, God.
My Blade Caller. Trex wanting to go in with the quickness is going to lock up Aardvark. He has no sums to be able to get away, but typical E-Girl already used Chum the Waters, and Drex was just not on the same page with his mid laner. Now, One True Urgot. Jesus! Leave this Jax alone! Bliss, please! He has a family!
Let me get a McPick too. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Get out of my lane. Why are you still laning against the Cho'Gath?
Oh, man.
Jeez.
The fact that
just got clapped. There's no other way to say that. He just... just a no. You don't get to actually play League of Legends in this game anymore. I'm sorry. This Cho'Gath is way too strong. Let's go take a look at that HP real quick. He's just chilling at 3,542 HP, 20 minutes into the game. Just Cho'Gath things,
Jesus.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah, usually the 3,000 health mark is something that you will see from a tank at the 25-minute mark, maybe barely 30-minute mark. But at 20 minutes, I mean, this guy... I mean, how are you supposed to kill this guy? And the one thing that we didn't cover about the composition coming from Thomas the Dank engine is that, yes, they have a lot of early game burst and they have a lot of crowd control and pick potential with their champions and their kits. Problem is, Jax was the only person that could really take down a tank with the Conquer Keystone. But if he's losing that split push matchup, I mean, who else is going to be able to take Bliss down?
Yeah, you are right. And we're starting Baron at 21 minutes. Xayah isn't even 2 items. And we're already seeing the Baron getting basically melted by the side of Scooptroop. They're going to pick this up.
Wow. This is just an absolute turnaround from Scooptroop. This performance alone does not reflect their 0-6 win record. This could be their first win of the season here. Now, Blade Caller is going to get locked down. The portal jump will dodge the Chum the Waters, but for what? Actually, the charm does land from Haruspex, and it saves his mid laner's life. Blade Caller is now going to play on the sides. Meanwhile, One True Urgot is in a 1v2 situation. He might be able to get the kill onto Trizzle. He's doing a lot of damage with Conquer, but the kiting from Trizzle is going to keep himself alive. Haruspex looking for one more shutdown onto typical E-Girl, but the flip-floppity-flop, Tidal Waters, whatever that E ability, that stupid
trickster. Yeah.
Trickster. Man, it's BS. Well, we'll call it that, the BS trickster. But now, the rest of Thomas the Dank engine has rotated over to the top side of the map. Trizzle is just going to suicide under turret, not try to give any more assist gold. And now Mistress Alawi, a little too far forward extended, just making sure Drex will get out safe, and both of them do. So, well played in the save attempt, but the pressure does not stop here, Sordo.
No, it does not. Bliss is just having a field day this game. He's sitting mid lane. He's kind of like the mountain from Game of Thrones. He's sitting there like, what are you going to do to me? You kill me once, I come back stronger. And guess what? They still can't kill him. Right now, he's just chilling on 1,500 gold. So he gets to go back, get more HP. You can try to 2v1 him here, but I don't know how this is going to go. Yeah, no, they're just going to let him go. Like, you can't fight the Cho'Gath anymore. Like, it's a yikes. Oh, jeez. He's at 9 stacks.
He's at 4,000 health at 23 minutes. Who's going to kill this Cho'Gath?
He's going to go back and get more HP. Yeah, he got more. He's going for Abyssal Mask. Oh, God. Oh, jeez. He's just trying to empower the Fizz now. This is just not a good time for the side of Thomas the Dank Engine. They have to face a Fed Cho'Gath, which, you know, in and of itself is not a fun time. But now you got to face a Fed Fizz as well. 7-3-0. Zyra tries to flash Grasping Roots. It does not work. Gets the flash out of Trizzle, which, you know, support for ADC, I call worth in that situation.
Oh, my God. I mean, what is Thomas, the Dank Engine, doing? They're trying to contest this push with One True Urgot on the bottom side of the map, but they're pushing it onto the top side, and Blade Caller is now fallen from the Chum the Waters engage. Assault the Battery is going to lock down Aardvark, and now Heart Respects. Can he get something down? He does get the last caress, but he's just teleported and blinked into a Cho'Gath. Is now going to get his 6th kill of the game. He's now approaching almost 4,500 health at this point, Sordo. I don't even know if Thomas the Dank Engine can defend this. One True Urgot is just sitting here trying to 1v2. I think he's just pretty much given up.
Oh, yeah. I don't think he's given up, but I think he just ran it into them real quick for 1 second. You ever seen those movies where, like, the good guy's, like, backing up into a corner and just bumps into the bad guy? It's like, hey, what's up? That's basically what happened to the Evelynn. The Evelynn gets the kill onto the Fizz, but the Cho'Gath's just there like, hi, buddy. How you doing? Feast! Dead. Like, this Cho'Gath is just so strong, so much true damage coming out from him. And he's tank! He does all your HP, and he's a tank. It's just not a fun time. Look at the damage that just doesn't exist onto the Cho'Gath. Look at that. He's laughing right now at this point.
He's just casually strutting about in their own base by himself. He's in a 1v5 situation. He doesn't care. Well, now he has flash forward. I think this is a little too over.
Oh my God!
He still kills Aru Specs. Yes, he gets the shutdown gold and gives it over to One True Urgot, which he probably shouldn't have done. But, I mean, this is just, he's flexing in their base right now.
Oh, God. And typical E-Girl is just going to one-shot here in a second.
Well, Deadly Flourish does lock him down, and he's going to be able to make it out alive. And now, Aardvark just one more shot, but the Playful Trickster is going to get him out to safety.
Gotta love it. Gotta love Playful Trickster. Don't you love when Fizz is in meta? It's my favorite. This Playful Trickster's away. He should have gotten the kill onto the Jax, but the Counter-Strike does stop Fizz W. So, you know, well played by One True Urgot. But he does have to be careful, because now he's worth gold again. He's worth, 300 gold. He does have to be mindful that he can't just, try to 1v2 again just for the hell of it. That dying now is a bigger detriment to your team than it was before.
Uh-oh. One True Urgot has gotten a face full of fists from Mistress Alawi, but there's not a lot of damage coming out quite yet. Now Haruspex is going to get locked up at the Assault and Battery. The quickness is going to charm them up. Deadly Flourish will not be enough to save his jungler, and it won't be for his top laner either. Actually, he does get out alive, and Fabulous has been locked down by the Chum the Waters. He does take down Mistress Alawi. The great knockup from the Stranglethorns will land, but it's not going to be enough to save her own life as well. That's 2 members down on the side of Thomas the Dank Engine. Trizzle's got to be careful. Ooh, Aardvark does get the last bullet. He might be able to get one more onto Drex, but he does have the Battle Dance to be able to leap to typical E-Girl. Bliss, how did he get here? And he's going to force the flash out of Blade Caller. Aardvark is going to be able to cut him out with Deadly Flourish, and it looks like One True Urgot actually canceled his TP. He was going towards the top side of the map, but now he's here trying to kite down this Bliss on this Cho'Gath. Aardvark giving out the cat emo. He's like, please don't hurt me. And he's got the kiting ability. And Bliss, even though he is a big, monstrous Cho'Gath,
oh god,
but not when Drax is there to be able to set up the play for him. And now One True Urgot, he's going to try to fight a 1v2, but Haruspex is now alive from the grave. It's been so long, but the last Chris doesn't do enough damage on an execute. It's just empowered damage. Drax will be able to save him with the Battle Dance. Fabulous trying to do his best, but it doesn't. What? Where did Haruspex go? Please, why are you fighting this Cho'Gath, Blizz? Double kill on the his. This is basically, if you haven't seen Jurassic World: The Fallen Kingdom, this is the Indominus Rex, or the new one, the Indoraptor. This is an Indoraptor gameplay coming in from Bliss. New champion from Riot, can confirm here on the Ascension Esports stream.
Jesus, this is actually just vile. This Cho'Gath just sat there, 1v3 for a solid minute. It wasn't even like, oh, I 1v3'd and I walked out. No, he just killed all of them. He was just waiting on his feast, playing with his food a little bit. Like, what? This Cho'Gath is a monster right now. He's just chilling at, 5,540 HP at 29 minutes. Just Cho'Gath things. Like, oh my goodness, this guy's disgusting right now. This is just not a fun game if you're Thomas the Dank Engine. That's all I can say.
To their credit, they are sticking this game out as long as they can. We were ready to call this an FF at 15 once Bliss was about 3,000 health at the 20-minute mark 10 minutes ago. And it's just so strange that we're already at the 30-minute mark. So much action has happened to elongate that time. But even though the gold lead is feeling monstrous right now, 10,000 gold lead ahead, items are still coming in for the side of Thomas the Dank Engine. Full AP damage. Evelyn has the Lichbane and Runic Echoes and Penetration Boots. Blade Caller has Ludens Echoes, Zonia's, and then double penetration from Oblivion Orb and Pen Boots. And of course, Fabulous also has Leandri's Torment, so actually will be doing a little bit of max percentage health damage with her spells. We're just waiting on Aardvark and One True Urgot to start getting more tank busting items. But as I say that, Fabulous just gets absolutely annihilated.
Doesn't actually get to play the game. Just, walked around the jungle, you walked into the wrong neighborhood, but it's my neighborhood. Not anymore. You just die instantly. Something to touch on that we can, instead of talking about the Cho'Gath who's just gonna run down this Jhin right now. Oh god, please no. But the Jhin.
What? Oh my god.
The Jhin decided to go the Last Whisper, as we just see the Evelyn get deleted off the map.
Actually, Haruspex could have stolen that. That's so sad.
He probably could have. But something to touch on, the Jhin did go the Last Whisper, and we just see Cho'Gath running in, acting like it's nothing. And Fizz died. Oh my goodness!
Typical E-Girl, just doing typical E-Girl things, blowing up Aardvark, and I've got nothing else to say, as we finally will see Scooptroop winning their first game of the season, as long as they actually just take down the turret instead of trying to inflate their KDAs. But at the same time, I can't understand, after going 0-6 in the season so far in week 4, they finally get a win, and they want it to look as pretty as they can be. Get all the kills you can get, boys. Enjoy the win. But mainly thank Bliss and Typical E-Girl for making this victory happen.
Yeah, no, Bliss just ran through everyone. And the thing that made it worse was that every single kill he got onto Urgot, he did it with Feast. So, most of the time it's like, okay, I'm feeding, it's not that bad, I'm not worth any gold. You're still worth stuff to Cho'Gath. That's like dying to Draven while he's been stacking, even though you're feeding. It still, is worth for the enemy team. Cho'Gath, had 4 stacks. I was already sitting at 2,000 HP. Then, he was at 9. Ended the game with probably, 15 stacks. The guy was just unstoppable, unkillable. He was almost full build at 32 minutes. So there's not much that Thomas the
Thomas,
Dank Engine could have done in this
can we
game once they fed Bliss.
sort of can we talk about the damage charts right now?
Let me take a look at it.
Oh,
Just
oh my
excuse me.
oh my lord. Most damage in the game coming from Bliss, and it's 44,000. Oh no, wait. In
24.
24,000. 24,000. I misread that. But still, 24,000 from a tank. This just goes to attest that like when all of your friends that play solo queue and they're trying to climb and they've made top lane and you look at their solo queue records like, okay, let's see what you got. Riven. Okay, Riven, Yasuo, uh Aatrox, Gnar, and then you're just like, why are you playing these champions? Like, what do you mean? You should play a tank like Cho'Gath or Malphite, but I can't carry if I don't play a carry. It's like, well, look. Have you heard the
Just
legend
link
of
them.
Bliss the Cho'Gath?
Just link them to this game. Man
Yeah,
does 6,286 damage in true damage to champions. That feast was just, using it off cooldown over and over and over and over and over again. He just made sure that he kept getting HP. He was running under Nexus towers, acting like they were nothing. So, all in all, this game completely spiraled out of control for Thomas the Dank Engine once Bliss got way too fed, and that was just the end of the game. There's not really much else to talk about. Bliss just single-handedly ended this game.
just unbelievable performance, and it's just even more incredible that this is the first win from Scooptroop. And I believe it's actually just maybe the power of these subs that have come in. If we're looking at the main roster, uh, normally the top laner is Lord Scrub, but Bliss has come in and he's technically written down as a jungle sub laner. But then Mistress Alawi is also the jungle E sub, and so they just sent Bliss top lane, and
I
my
mean,
God,
Bliss got on that ladder, climbed all the way up, and said, "You know what? I'm cashing in this win. It's all mine." So at the end of the day, GG to Scoop Troop. They got their first win on the board.
yeah. Well, that will do it just for this game, as it's just a best of one. But we will be going into the next game of the evening, and it will also be our final game as well, as Kirbee's Young Stars look to take on the Meme Dream Team. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for your patience on that one. We were just making sure that everything was ready for the second game, as this matchup is so fire right now. It is Kirby's Young
Oh my
Stars versus
god.
Meme Dream Team, the number 1 and the number 2 current seeds in the standings. Kirby's hasn't lost a game. Meme Dream has only lost one game so far, Sordo. And now, this is the time where we see if Meme Dream can dethrone the Kings right now.
Yo, I'm really hoping for the upset. I'm always down for, an underdog story. And the thing is, it was week 1, game 1 for Meme Dream Team where they got their only loss versus your Kirby's Young Stars. So I'm curious to see what happens here. Like, I really want Meme Dream Team to pull up the upset and just put Kirby's Young Stars in their place.
So what you're telling me is this is a revenge game right here for
Oh,
Meme
absolutely.
Dream Team.
Absolutely.
So the best kind. Well, we are flying through picking bands. Actually, not flying as so much as we did the first game. Aatrox and Akali, those bands actually have been decided that those champions just will not be played, as there are 2 subs coming in for Kirby's Young Stars. But the Echo is a real band, as it is the Real's most played champion. 98 games in solo queue and almost a 60% win ratio. So good thing that is off the table.
Yeah, geez. Echo can be such a nuisance to play against in just whether it is solo queue, whether it is whatever. He's just a pain to deal with. He dashes in, does all this damage, one-shots you, you're like, alright, he's gonna die to the tower. Ults back out, goes invulnerable to tower, gets, 40% of his HP back, and he's like, yo, what's poppin', B? How you living? Like, he just makes sure you don't have a fun time. But we are flying through the picks. Orin, Swain, Poppy, Trundle, Ziggs. This and the
Kled.
Gotta hit him with the charge. Oh my goodness. I love Kled. I love Kled so much. He just runs in there, slaps you in the face a few times, just yells a bunch of profanity, loses Scarl because he's like, all right, well, I'm immortal, but, I don't want to be here. Kled gets him back, gets 2,000 HP, and he's like, all right, what are you going to do, So, I really like Kled. I love him so much.
Yeah. And with the Kled lock-in, it does more than likely spell that Poppy will be a jungler. And we have actually seen Poppy jungle one time this split so far. It was played by 100 Thieves Onda in the NALCS. And it was used to pretty decent effect. I mean, the heroic slam into the wall is always a great gank setup. And then looking at some of the lanes right here with the steadfast presence can block the dash from Caitlyn using the 90 caliber net. And if she attempts to take the Thresh Lantern, I believe she can interrupt that as well with the steadfast presence.
Yes, she can. Almost everything can be blocked by the steadfast presence. But something to note, and I know, Des, if you're listening, you're going to be mad, but we have my favorite champion in. We have Orin. And you know what Orin does when he gets the brittle on. I'm not going to say it now. I'm going to save it for later so I can get away with it. But you know what's going to come. And I'm hoping that Orin gets to do it to the Swain because, that's going to be a blast.
It rhymes with rap and trap, and it sounds less like that. You already know.
But anyways, on a more serious note, I'm kind of questioning the side of Meme Dream Team a little bit. I thought it was going to be the Kled going into the top lane, and then the Swain mid to try to face the Ziggs. But it looks like it's going to be Kled mid. Question mark to that.
Well, it's not to say that Kled mid isn't a strange pick, as we did see a surgence of it from I believe it was one of the LPL teams. I don't remember their full name, but RWG, and their mid laner pulled it out. And I remember when he used it to stomp LCK at Rift Rivals. It made all of the Korean mid laners start to pick up Kled in their own solo queue games, trying to figure out, man, is this actually really good? Is this like a pocket pick that we should be respecting right now? And then Kled was then practiced in the NALCS a couple times by the likes of Huhi and I believe uh, either Power of Evil or Febivin, but
I think it was
just
PoE. Yeah.
oh yeah, it was Power of Evil. So I mean, the Kled mid is not something that is new to the Rift, but in this context, in this situation against the likes of Ziggs mid, where you already would have thought that Swain would have had a better matchup into the Ziggs versus the Ornn, it does leave us scratching our heads here.
Now we could just see that it's all just a big meme, get it? And Swain, Exalted just is like, forget it, I'm going mid, you just go top, you deal with the Ornn. And it's just, they're just more comfortable on said champions. So we're going to have to see when we get into game, because it can always switch. But if the Swain does face the Ornn, the only real advantage that you have in this situation is when Ornn does Call of the Forge God, you can never move him and make sure that he can't hit that second part of the Call of the Forge God. So the Swain can counter the Ornn, but it has to be done so well and so precisely. And if it's not done, the Swain kind of just gets destroyed by the Ornn. The Ornn does have the sustain in lane. Even though Swain is ranged, he doesn't do that much damage early. His Q does, 50 damage. And that's if you're close enough to them. So I kind of want to give the advantage to Ornn if it's the Swain. Now, if it's the Kled, it's a completely different story. Mm-hmm. And, we'll get into that if it does happen. But I'm going off of the champ select. Swain top, Ornn top. That's what I'm going off of. But it could change.
Could change. Well, since we do not know what is the current positionings for mid and top lane on the side of Meme Dream Team, we can talk about this bot lane and the jungle matchup for sure. We talked a little bit about the power of Poppy as a ganking jungler, but if she ever does run into Trundle, that's going to be a bad time for her.
Oh, I actually played this matchup, I think it was yesterday. I was the Trundle versus the Poppy. The Poppy killed me early, like really early. I think it was like level 2. Because you hit the heroic charge into the wall, queued me with the passive, and just 100 to 0'd me. That surprisingly, her Q does a hell of a lot of damage early. It is not fun to deal with in the early game. But once I got items, you get the warrior, you go the cinder hole, and then if you're fed, you go into the Trinity Force. You just completely smash the Poppy. Like, there is just no contest. You really just, make her do whatever you want in her own jungle. It's just not a fun time as the Poppy. So as long as the Trundle respects her early, then as the game progresses and the Poppy gets more tank stats, and the Kled as well, he'll be able to steal more stats, at least for now, before he gets gutted next patch. He'll be in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, and right now we are still on patch 8.15. If you have been reading the patch notes for 8.16, which will be coming out tomorrow or in just a few hours into the early morning, Trundle is receiving a ton of nerfs, mainly his dueling powder, his 1v1 skirmishing, and just the amount of damage he can not only be able to steal from his opponent, but just the amount of base damage on his chomp as well. And with the press, the attack mastery is so easy to proc. I do agree that if Singular Bread on this Poppy can find a wall or even use Trundle's Pillar against him and then Heroic Slam him, get the double proc damage, and then the two ends of the Hammer Shock, which will do 16% max health physical damage. Nutty, by the way.
Ooh.
But other than that, in just like in a 1v1 dueling, Wrecked Adreno should be able to have the advantage. But yeah, I do agree. There is that possibility for the cheese.
Now, here's something that we didn't get to talk about as we see the 5-man in the bush. Oh, jeez. Oh, don't do this to me. I can feel the cheddar in this bush. Like, I can just smell it. And this is not good. The Vars is just sitting there, so...
Don't you mean it's not Gouda?
I'm AFK, boys. You hurt me. You hurt my insides, you know this? Like, I thought we were friends, but, oh, jeez.
Don't worry, it'll all be feta in just a moment. Oh... I could go on and on. I'm such a monster with these cheese puns, dude.
I hate you. You see the invade coming out.
Oh, yeah, the invade. Oh, my God. Wait a minute. What a combo. Searing Shockwave, procced by the pillar from Wrecked Adreno, has the members of Mean Dream Team just flabbergasted at what the hell just happened. What a creative play. It does net them the blue buff steal, and Hitzig does burn the flash as well.
Wow. That was... Interesting. Let's just say that. Now, the issue with this, he does give up his lane, one angry Canadian. He gives up a lot of pressure within his lane. Yes, you give the pressure onto the bot lane. He can do work there. But, now your solo lanes are going to suffer. And if that Trundle does not end up ganking the Swain, it's just not going to be a fun time for one angry Canadian. And he's going to get angry this game, not having any kill pressure.
He's already getting shoved in by Exalted Silva. Does not get the knockup portion of the Searing Shockwave against the wall. Exalted Silva will enjoy this slight advantage in the push early on, as long as Wrecked Adreno does not come top lane and mess that up for him.
Yeah, no, something to note. The Orin opted into not taking Bellows Breath, which I don't know why, but I've seen so many Orins, within leagues that I've casted not take Bellows Breath. And it just baffles me. Bellows Breath gives the brittle onto the minions, it gives brittle onto champions, it gives you a shield, and it allows you to just CS throughout laning phase. So it kind of confuses me why you wouldn't take it, and misses. But see, there it is.
Yeah,
there's
there it is, the Bellows Breath.
Damage. Like, it just does so much. It slows the enemy champion, it brittles them, and when you get the auto attack off, you stun them. Okay, so that allows you to get the Q off, as we see. Oh, my.
Oh, wow. Subject Blue did not get the death sentence. It was point blank. And Hitzig just maintaining calm composure throughout that whole ordeal. Forced not only 2 sums out of Subject Blue, but also the heal from Getsy, just making sure that his support did not die. And we're seeing just, wow. I'm speechless.
Subject Blue, I swear he can probably be an NFL kicker because he just field goaled that so hard, almost hit the post. But oh gosh, see the
Exalted Silva. He still has the flash. One angry Canadian's flash in, but he did not have the auto timer. Wow, Exalted Silva, his butt must be so clenched right now that I just to have that kind of patience, understanding that one angry Canadian was not actually going to get that kill, means so much for him in this lane.
Yeah, no, now Exalted is just in such a good position to win this lane right now. And we see the Dark
the Dark Binding, what a great prediction. Finds it after the Dark Lantern, the Igniting Boom takes down. Woo! Piercing arrow from downtown. American Sniper hits Zig, despite burning flash early on in the invade, gets the first blood.
We'll get him next time, boys. Like, it just... Especially with that Arctic Ops skin, it just feels like Modern Warfare 2 all over again. Pulled out the intervention, just click, click, boom! Hit it right onto the Caitlyn. Just doesn't miss anything. And that's just going to just propel the lane forward for the side of Meme Dream Team. This lane was already so good. The Thresh, missing the hooks, that's really their only way to get into the lane. So for the side of Meme Dream Team, they're in such a good position now to just completely smash the bot lane.
And now with that Cutlass, it's just he's already got the sustain power to match Getsy's Fleet of Footwork, which is pretty much the only sustain item that Caitlyn would be reasonably building in this matchup right here. Sentence does land. He's going to come in with the Flay. The Reels, can he get the flash out? He will. But the one more auto, and the Bully is going to be able to pick up the kill with the assistance from his support and jungler.
That's some bullying right there. Like, I feel kind of bad. The Reels getting ganged up on. But an excellent roam by Subject Blue. Comes up, knows that his ADC is just going to get to free farm a little bit, so it's fine. Might as well just go mid, and picks up the kill onto the Reels. Burns the flash. They don't burn any summoners on the side of Kirby's young stars. So, all in all, just a well-played and well-timed gank, but here comes the Cleno.
No, and there's the wall slam! It was just so beautifully placed! There's nowhere that the Bully could have gone, had no flash, and had no mana for the satchel charge, and even then, the steadfast presence would have kept him in place.
And the Kled just charging in, no cares in the world. That shield was just massive, and there was nothing that Bully could do. I get what he was trying to do. He was trying to push the wave, but he should have definitely had Rekt help him push the wave into tower and back. But he just doesn't have adequate vision, doesn't see the Poppy, doesn't see the Kled, and just gets ulted and deleted off the map.
Just like that, the advantage that the Bully had in this mid lane has been equalized now. The gold lead should still now be remaining only 200 in Bully's favor. But with the Tiamat being completed by the Reels, he's going to be able to match the wave clear that Bully will be having in this lane.
All that the Reels needs to do now is get vision and make sure he knows where the Trundle is. As long as he's not getting ganked, he will win the mid matchup. Even though he's down CS, he can live through all the poke that Ziggs throws at him. So it's really just all dependent on vision. If the Poppy can, even if she doesn't gank, all she needs to do is get information for the team. Tell everyone where the Trundle is. Make him as useless as possible, especially since the Trundle opted in to go the Tiamat instead of going a Smite into Warrior. So the Trundle's just looking to farm. If you know where the Trundle is, you're going to have such a better time in all your lanes that right now are just dominating.
We're going to have to see how well Singular Breast is going to track Rekt Adreno. And he's already recognizing that with the Tiamat advantage, he will be able to farm way faster than Singular Bread, as even by itself, Singular Bread doesn't have the fastest farming speeds, and it looks like Rekt has already found him. Does not have a lot of mana, though, to follow up. Does not use the Subjugate quite yet. The Reels will be here for a counter game, but he does have the assistance from Bellies as well. The Hammer's going to come in. It's going to fling back Rekt Adreno back. He's going to be able to disengage that fight pretty well, and it looks like that will be the end of that skirmish in the river.
Yeah, Poppy forced to use Flash as well. That the Ziggs was just doing way too much damage there. You see the engage here.
Oh, the box does come out, but Death Sentence, once again, as you said, NFL kicker Subject Blue reporting for duty as he field goals right between Neko and Hitzig.
Man, he wishes he was just the Seattle Seahawks kicker. Just misses everything. But my goodness. Again, we talked about this earlier. For the side of Kirby's young stars, it all depends on that Thresh to hit the hook, and once the hook hits, you flay him back into the trap, get the trap, do the headshot, 50 caliber net, another headshot with the Q, and you just keep going on and on. By that time, someone's going to die, or at least two summoners are getting burned. So, It's a lot on the Thresh, but we see the Orin just going in.
Yeah.
Man, not a care in the world.
Unfortunately, he did miss the Bella's Breath, so did not get that percentage max health magic damage onto Exalted Silva. Would have been better trade overall. He finally lands the death sentence, but this is not the death sentence that he actually wanted. It might have put Recta Drano in a bad situation. He gets slammed into the wall by Singular Bread, and he's not going to make it out alive. Singular Bread looking for more. He's just going to burn him down with the Bomby Cinder and hits him down with the Hammer Shock down. Double kill coming in for the jungler for Meme Dream Team.
That is just unfortunate for Kirby's young stars. Subjugate was maybe 5-10 seconds off a cooldown. If they could have gotten the Subjugate and Rek did not walk towards the wall, they probably could have turned that fight. The Ziggs was coming down, and the bot lane did have the damage to be able to sustain through it. But they do give over the kill, and they do give over the dragon as well. 4-1 lead. 600 gold lead right now, 11 minutes in. This is looking pretty good for Meme Dream Team.
Yeah, 500 gold lead, nothing to scoff at, but it is not that advantageous quite yet. Now, I don't want to be the caster curse and jinx it for the side of Meme Dream Team or Kirby's Young Stars here, but we do have to look back at that top lane after the failed flash from one angry Canadian, not cleaning up that what should have been a solo kill onto Exalted Silva. He's still exerting lane dominance as the Spectre's Cowl. Now with that coming in, it doesn't solve the mana issues, but it pretty much keeps him topped off in health.
Yeah, it does. He's up about 200 gold in the matchup, and it's all on CS. He has pressure. He's going to, have the level lead as well. And he's, honest to God, just looking for that level 11. He's going to be able just to come in, use Call of the Forge God. The Trundle is coming in, though. I don't think this is going to be a successful game.
Oh, there's going to be two fights going, one down in the mid lane. The Bully does get out alive with the Thresh Lantern, and he's actually pulling him in with the fly into the box. The Mega Inferno Bomb will be able to do enough damage to Singular Bread to force him away as the Black Shield comes in as well to make sure there's no other incoming CC. But it did look like in the top lane that nothing came from it other than Exalted Silva burning the Demonic Ascension.
And that's really all you need from that. Rek did not use Subjugate. He didn't use Flash. Orin didn't use Flash, didn't use Ult. So you get the Demonic Ascension out for free. So now you give Orin so much lane pressure. And oh my goodness, if he would... Oh... I just had flashbacks to Aphromo stealing the blue at level 1. This is way back in Season 3? Season 2? My goodness. If he would have stole that, I would... Oof, the tilt would have been real.
Right off the edge of the earth, indeed, for Singular Bread, but has secured that blue buff. So he won't tilt quite yet, but it would be tilting if he were to lose this game off of this 2-on-2 lead, because he's done a great job so far, just providing so much impact and pressure to the mid lane and the bot lane for now, but we have not seen him extend that pressure to the top lane, and not sure if that's just a decision based between him and his top laners Exalted Silva, or if that is just the general game plan. You know what? Just let it farm out between you and Ornn. We'll look to make sure that this Kled and Varus and Morgana can get it off the ground.
I mean, both Ornn and Swain are looking for those 2 items. So to have them farm out, it's probably for the best that junglers aren't really doing much of anything top lane because they're not really going to get anything. Both Swain and Ornn have disengaged. Swain with the never move, Ornn with his E and Bellows Breath and Black Shield. That was perfect. And Call to the Forge God. So, in all reality, ganking top does nothing. If they can get the Ziggs ahead, if they can get the Kled ahead instead, it's just much more influential onto the map, in my opinion. That poke from the Ziggs is just a lot.
A nice one more touch of damage with the Satchel Charge. You usually find it whenever Ziggs do just harass you with satchel charge. It's almost just disrespectful, as you don't really put points into it for the first levels until level 9, and then some Ziggs, if they still want to go into the tower pushing, then you will max it second. Otherwise, you can max the minefield for a little bit more AoE clearing and zone control. But just watching the satchel just fly, I was like, gotcha. Just a little love tap on the side there.
It's just annoying. Like, especially when you're trying to back, they just use the satchel instead of throwing a Q at you. And you're just sitting there like, I'll kill you when I get back, alright? Relax. Like, it's just a lot to deal with. But, we do see the Kled building into the mall. He built a Hex Drinker. I blanked on the item name for a second there, but he is building Hex Drinker. He's building a lot of components, which, in certain cases is alright. I don't really like it in this situation. You do have an Ocean Drake, so I think the Hex Drinker could have waited for, maybe another item instead. But, at the end of the day, it is the Real's decision what he does. And we are just commentators at this point.
Well, Getsy smells something is up. He already sees Neko Nayuta and Singular Bread. Dark Binding's going to land. That's going to be a heroic slam into the wall. Just easy stuff coming in from Meme Dream Team. I mean, the dive setup was just so clean. And that's going to be first tower coming in. Unless Mango Inferno Bomb does clear it out. But they're still going to try and get this first brick. And they will. But now, Recta Drano is here trying to turn the tides of the battle. But he's fallen so fast in terms of damage. And the Bully is going to be able to shut down this Singular Bread. Just a lot of burst damage coming in, but he has no more mana. He just has to rely on his auto attacks, and it does make Hit Zig flash away as well as burn the heal to keep him and Neko in safety. But meanwhile, One Angry Canadian might go for the... Oh, come on, man. One Angry Canadian. He's still going to go for it, but the Demonic Ascension is going to come out. One Angry Canadian might have been a little too far extended. Oh my god. Oh, that feels bad, man.
Well, this is what I said in Champ Select. The only way that the Swain really does counter the Orin is if he never moves during the Call of the Forge God. And that's exactly what he did. He waited for Call of the Forge God to come out, throws the Never Move, hits it, and just makes the Orin ult useless. So, at the end of the day, extremely well played by Exalted Silva.
One Angry Canadian just getting so close to solo killing the Swain and just gets so close yet so far. And I guess in the end it doesn't even matter,
Oh, jeez.
We've got to throw one in for good old Chester. Rip him, dude.
Man, all these puns, I've become so numb to them already.
Yes! You're racing it. Beautiful.
I've fallen to temptation, boys. But back on the game, Thresh missing yet another hook. Oh, there's so many that if he's hit the hooks that he's missed, this game would be so different right now. Especially in that bot lane. The Caitlyn, I feel, wouldn't be 0-2. She would probably have, 1 or 2 kills. So, I mean, I'm not saying that it's all on the Thresh, but oh, jeez.
No, it's actually all on the Morgana, Neko Nayuta, and Hitzik setting up a beautiful CC combination. And Singular Bread, I mean, this has just been a 3-man core unit just moving around the map and just locking down key targets. Rift Herald does come out, but it doesn't even get a chance to get the charge down. Exalted Silva, now in a 1v4 situation, is like, wait a minute, I'm not in a 1v1. I cannot outplay him as easily. And if the 3-man core from the side of Meme Dream Team to continues going for this tower, they're going to lose this turret second. But Single Bread is here, and he gets the Keeper's Verdict onto the Rift Herald. It's going to send Shelly back, and now he's just confused, trying to fight off the Reels as he uses charge to just try and distract him from the turret. Shelly cannot get one more proc onto the turret, and is going to fall. What a great defense play from the Reels and Singular Bread being able to protect their second-tier turret in that mid lane.
Yeah, but at what cost? Kled and Poppy both use their ults, and Kled is forced to use the TP and Flash, all to save that T2 tower. So that's a lot, and if you don't defend that T2 tower, you just wasted a lot of summoners and a lot of resources.
Only time will tell, Sordo. But it does look like Kirby's Young Stars will be able to respond with a Cloud Drake claim here. We'll give him a little bit of more movement speed around the map. So it should give him an advantage in being able to respond to any macro plays that Meme Dream Team do want to set up.
Now, something to note for Kirby's Young Stars, they do have a lot of wave clear. The Caitlyn, once she starts to get items, the Ziggs will always have wave clear, and even the Orin with Bellow's Breath does do a fairly decent job in wave clearing. So, with Kirby's Young Stars, they just want to stall out and wait until they get to, like 30 minutes, and are just able to 5v5. The Caitlyn with the item, she's going to just completely outscale the Varus, in my opinion. And, the Ziggs will outdamage the Swain and the Kled. So, at the end of the day, as long as we wait, and that's a flash.
Well, flash down from Singular Bread, as Kirby's Young Stars will take that any day over a death sentence. Cooldown, huge difference. But looks like they are trying to go for another siege situation. Even though Getsy98 did lose lane against the likes of Hitzig and Neko, Caitlyn is still pretty darn good, and in tandem with the Bully on Ziggs, pretty good at taking down turrets from a long and safe range. And now they're looking to collapse onto Exalted Silva. He still has Flash, but I'm not sure where he's going to be able to go. Rector has the Chomp and the slowdown. Pillar used a little early, but the Call of the Forge God is going to come out. Can it find the knockup? No. Exalted Silva uses the Flash, but I don't even know why you would want to use it right there. You have 5 members committing, but this means the Meme Dream Team will answer with a Baron call.
And they see the Caitlyn recalling. This might be a little questionable. They have no vision onto the Baron. 2 pink wards used. This might be Baron going over to Meme Dream Team.
The Blade of the Ruined King, % health damage is going to help in trying to shred this Baron down before the likes of Kirby's Young Stars can get there. Keeper's Verdict does keep away the Thresh. Mega Inferno Bomb is a little too early, just helps with the leash. But Rector Trano trying to go for the steal, but he does not get it. Well-timed smite coming in from Singular Bread is going to be able to take down the troll. And Subject Blue missing a flash flay, but they're still trying to make something out of this fight. The Real still keeps alive with the passive, mounting back onto Scarl. And all 5 members of the Meme Dream Team successfully will be able to have the Baron buff.
That was really well played by Meme Dream Team. They realized the fact that the Caitlyn backed. They're like, all right, Silva, it's fine. They sent 5 people for you. Get the Baron. It's all good. They kind of pulled the old TSM approach where they put Dyrus into the side lane. They let them 5-man him, but they just get all the objectives for themselves. And that's exactly what Meme Dream Team just did.
You wouldn't normally see a Baron call like that so confidently made, especially when all 5 members of your opponent's team is up and your top laner just died. But given the circumstances of how that happened, all of them were bot side just for one person, and a couple of them were recalling instead of just running over straight to the Baron. So they just felt like, you know what, we can punish this so hard, and they make it out alive. And Rector Drano unfortunately did not get the smite steal, even though he arrived in time. And now with this Baron buff push, it will be able to turn the tides and looking for a couple more objective claims right here.
I mean, that was just complete confidence on the side of Meme Dream Team. They knew what their comp could accomplish. And oh my goodness. Keeper's Verdict? Sending 2 people back.
Throw Ornn and Subject Blue, but they do not have a minion wave, so not going to really be able to make use of that ultimate right there, as now they're back. It's 5-on-5 on this bot side of the map. Look at the minion wave onto the top side of the map that is slowly pushing to the base of Kirby's Young Stars. So as long as they just keep their ground right here, they don't have to worry about trying to manage their other waves, whereas Kirby's Young Stars would have to go to the top side of the map and correct it. But the Mega Inferno Bomb does come out trying to poke them back. And actually, I completely lied. It looked like it was pushing towards Kirby's Young Stars, but the minion wave is now in Kirby's favor. And so that's why Exalted Silva does have the answer to the top side of the map.
something to notice as we see a pause, another game, another pause. But something I noticed from Silva, he opted not to go the Zanya's Hourglass, which to me is questionable, to say the least. You have a lot of engage and a lot of damage coming out from Kirby's Young Stars. So I would assume that you would want to use the Zanyas, just go in there, get all your damage off, and while you're still in Demonic Ascension, use your Zanyas, let them bait everything onto you, and let your team free hit, especially with that Varus, who's coming up on his third item, the Rage Blade, and he's just going to do a massive amount of damage. So I'm kind of questioning the build, but, you know, I feel like he's going for the Spellbinder, or don't actually know what he's going for. Any ideas? Any clue?
Man, at this point, anything could happen. This is Dragon League, so the possibilities are endless here, Sordo. Let your imagination run free. We have the Poppy Jungle and the Kled mid, even though that's not as uncommon. It is still pretty nice to see, but only time will tell what they end up building here. But we are now back into game. Looked like Singular Bread just had a slight disconnection issue, but now we're all back on the Rift, and Meme Dream Team running out on the Baron buff. It looks like it is, I believe it should be ending in the next 30 seconds. Just trying to see if the timer there is correct. They will be shoving down this mid lane and looking to maybe rotate back to the bot side of the map. Exalted Silva can push in that top side as well. He does have the teleport to be able to join his teammates if they need to. But we have to look if Kirby's Young Stars just tries to force and engage with the Call of the Forge God.
I mean, something else to note, and we talked about this earlier, is Kirby's Young Stars have just so much wave clear. The Caitlyn, the Ziggs, the Ornn, the Trundle. They can all wave clear any lane they really feel like, especially the Ziggs. So I feel like it was a bit of a misplay for the side of Meme Dream Team. They kept pushing down the lane that the Ziggs was in. The Ziggs doesn't really care. And, you know, that's just a wasted Baron buff in a sense.
Just unlucky for such a great Baron call that was made to great punishment of the weird positioning of Kirby's Young Stars. They don't get anything out of the Baron buff. They do get the Air Dragon, a little bit more movement speed, and now Exalted Silva might be caught out here again. Seer Shockwave and the Flay is going to land. He's got nowhere to go, but the Reels wants to force something. This is now a 4-on-5. This is going to be really shaky, but the Call of the Forge God does get interrupted, and the Keeper's Verdict is going to knock down 2 people, and this could mean that Recta Drano does go down, and now Searing Shockwave once again looking for more knockouts, but Hitzig is in right in the middle of the minefield. He's going to get taken down by the bully. He's going to flash in with the satchel charge, the Kobe, the dunk. He's going to go in, pick up another kill onto the Reels, and what looked like a shaky engage coming out, and it was back and forth. It looked like the Keeper's Verdict could have won them the fight, but just so much AoE damage coming out from the bully, comboing it with the CC from one angry Canadian.
Yeah, no. At the end of the day, it was a complete misplay. Exalted Silva just got wrecked. He didn't ult. He couldn't Zanya's because he doesn't have the item. He doesn't have stopwatch either. So he just got completely shut down. And then on top of that, Meme Dream Team decided to engage the 4v5. Yes, the Keeper's Verdict did make it a 4v4 for a quick second there. But the thing is, the Trundle already subjugated. So he's already stealing the stats from the Poppy and making her weaker and weaker. So at the end of the day, even though it was 4v5 and then 4v4, it didn't matter. Your Poppy was forced to flash out. And then the Varus just gets caught by everything. A bit of a misposition. Still had flash, but there was just nothing he could do.
Hopefully that same mistake does not come again in the next couple of team fights, as we're now approaching 30 minutes into the game. And as we get later and later, each team fight is going to be more and more significant until eventually one team fight, one clean team fight coming out from either team could just mean the end of the game.
Now here's the thing, the Varus is way far ahead of the Caitlyn. So as long as Varus is kept alive, he should be able to just melt down the Orin, melt down the Trundle, and just work front to back in a sense in the team fight. So I don't know. They need to pick their fights carefully here for the side of a Meme Dream Team.
Keeper's Verdict was being channeled by Singular Bread, but it's not going to find anyone as members of Kirby's Young Stars already backed away. The Bully is playing with fire as he's trying to look for a flank and poke. They do land the Death Sentence onto Neko Nayuta, but he's going to pop the Zonias to try and buy some time with the Soul Shackles. Disengage here, and just the root on root. Oh man, the Bully has been taken down. That's a lot of the AoE damage, and Getsy is going to fall to Exalted Silva. That means there's no more damage coming out from the side of Kirby's Young Stars, and as long as Hitsig is alive, he will be able to take down the rest of the members, and that is an ace, a clean ace, in fact.
Literally what I just said. If you keep Varus alive, you're going to win the fight. The Trundle moves way too far forward, leaves his backline open, and just melts to the Varus, while the rest of the team just completely disrupts the backline. The Varus is able to free hit, and, this is just going to be an inhibitor for the side of the Meme Dream Team. This is perfect for them.
Seemed like they could have maybe pushed for a Nexus turret, but they did not want to risk it. They actually have eyes potentially onto the Baron. Hitsig, with this build right now, Blade of the Ruin King Renan's and Gwinsu's Rage Blade, he has so much attack speed, he can rack up the damage, but they're still respecting the ability for Kirby's Young Stars to be able to turn a fight on its head, so they're not going to start the Baron quite yet. Just get as much vision control as they can. But now the question is, does Kirby's Young Stars, do they make a Baron call? And it looks like they are. They're just trying to play off of what Meme Dream Team did to them much earlier. But Singular Bread is still here, and he has the Keeper's Verdict. So he can easily punt out Recta Drano out of the Baron and not allow him to get the Smite Steal down.
Thing is, that Trundle is getting really low, and they do have eyes onto this Baron.
But the Keeper's Verdict does get interrupted. Singular Bread is going to try to go into Rector Drano. He is fighting 1v1, and with the help of the Baron, but Neko Nayuta has taken down the Bully. AoE damage is gone. Exalted Silva and Singular Bread have now fallen, and it looks like actually Getsy is finally turning up, and as soon as I say that, Hitsig gets the clutch kill with the Quadra, in fact, coming in as well. That is another ace, and do they just go and run it down mid, try to end the game here?
This might be the end of the streak for Kirby's Young Stars here. They're sitting at 6-0, but Hitsig is saying, nah, I am ending the streak. Call me Brock Lesnar because I am taking down The Undertaker. I am ending the streak right now.
The Reels is like, yo, let's just end the game right now, but Hitsig says, no. Let's make the suffering even longer. We'll take the quote-unquote safer route while we could have just ended the turret. No Kappa. But that is 2 inhibitors down, so the pressure is just building up even further. But it still does mean that even though that last fight was not played as well from the side of the Bully, being taken out as he is that AoE damage source, it does still mean that there is still a chance for Kirby's Young Stars to make a comeback. They just need one team fight to be able to revitalize the members and get them to try and close out this game.
The thing is, unless they're able to kill Hitsig, they're going to lose the fight every single time. And unless Thresh hits the miracle hook onto Hitsig, and they just use everything onto him, they're going to lose every single fight, without a question. So, right now, it's on one Angry Canadian to hit Call of the Forge God onto Hitsig, and then Caitlyn just needs to be able to free hit onto them. But if you look at the items, Hitsig is chilling at 4 items. Caitlyn doesn't even have 3 yet. So, right now, this Caitlyn just doesn't do damage, especially the fact that she doesn't have IE yet. It's just a yikes for the side of Kirby's Young Stars.
They are starting to stack up in this bush right here, and they've swept it out. Do they go for a blind just trap right here? They're going to find Exalted Silva. They're going to flay him back. Searing Shockwave does miss, but now here comes the re-engage coming from the side of Mean Dream Team. What a great three-man knockup coming in, and now the Reels off of the back of the charge has made a great re-engagement, and he's going to try and just stall the backline as much as he can. He doesn't even have Scarro, but he's doing so much work intimidating the crap out of the bully and gets the 98. And it does make a lot of sense as the front line has completely fallen. They're going to try and defend this as much as they can, but Sordo, I don't think they're going to be able to pull this one out any farther. They just have all 5 members pulling in. Getsy 98 is going to fall down. And ladies and gentlemen, Meme Dream Team, they finish the upset and they dethrone Kirbee's Young Stars.
And that is the end of the streak. Kirbee's Young Stars falling to 6-1, now tied with the Meme Dream Team. Wow. Hitzig just popping off, making sure that he takes the team, puts them all in a little bag, puts them on his back, and it's like, we win in this. We're charging forward, and we're taking first place. My goodness.
Pog to the Gers.
Honestly.
Pog everything that you ever wanted to exemplify hype and excitement for this team. And it did look shaky, especially from Exalted Silva, who was somehow losing the matchup against the Ornn. But do want to point out that one angry Canadian was not able to close the gap on a couple of solo kills that should have happened in his favor. So unlucky for him, as that could have been an advantage for the side of Kirbee's Young Stars. But also we did talk about Hitzig and Neko Nayuta being able to play out this bot lane so well. And it just seemed like Neko was just one step ahead of Subject Blue every single time. He threw it out. A death sentence would either dodge it or just have the instantaneous black shield answer. And it just shows why Morgana is such a painful matchup for the Thresh, and makes that Thresh first pick even more questionable as well.
I mean, it all started with Subject Blue missing that hook onto Hitzig, point blank, just straight field goals it. And then that allows for Hitzig to get the American snipe onto the Caitlyn. And from there on out, he just kept getting kill after kill after kill until eventually now he's 14-1, ending the game and ending your guys' streak. So right now, I'd be looking at that bot lane and seeing how you can play it differently to make sure that Hitzig never gets this fed again.
Only time will tell, Sordo. They're going to have to recuperate, take a long, hard look at this VOD, and just see what went wrong. And for them, in terms of improvement, they definitely have to look at how they played team fights, because there's a couple moments where the bully was putting out a lot of damage, and that's when they were able to win a couple of fights. But then the fights that they immediately lost, he stepped way too far forward on the Ziggs. He was practically frontlining and just trying to overextend his reach to get as much damage as he could. But you can't do that when you are pretty much the sole damage output, as Getsy 98 had not been able to complete a lot of her items in time for these big fights. The Storm Razor and Rapid Fire Caitlyn is not going to be any match for the Blade of the Ruin King Runon's Hurricane Varus here. You definitely just need to scale and wait until you get that third or fourth item.
Yeah, no, definitely. I 100% agree with you. But, you know, we do welcome the new kings of the Dragon League, the Meme Dream Team, into first place as we conclude week 4. We're going to have to see what happens, that we still have till week 9? Or no, week 7. So as long as they keep winning, but I don't think they play again for the rest of the season. So if they just stay winning, you know, we might have a tiebreaker at the end of the season. So we're going to have to see what happens.
You're absolutely right. And Meme Dream Team now, after giving Kirbee's Young Stars their first loss of the season, we want to see how well they can project this momentum, as you so put it. And ladies and gentlemen, that is the last match of the evening for Dragon League under Ascension Esports. I would like to thank everyone for coming out. Thank you so much for your patience through the technical difficulties as well. And thank you to Sordo, my co-color caster, for joining me on the cast, as well as our wonderful production team, our streamer, Pro Nibs, and our head caster, Senor Eric Beltran, aka also known as the wonderful, dashingly golden voice god, aka Deserux. Please, thank you so much for coming out tonight. And Sordo, you got anything else you want to say to the lovely people here?
No, nothing at all. I'm just ready to see what happens next week in Ascension's Dragon League. So we're going to have to see then. Until then, we'll catch you guys later.